Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerials podcast, now with the Digitant Network. Thanks so much for joining me and tuning in. If you haven't yet, please check out the Artist Entrepreneur podcast. I co-host it with Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie. Join us as we navigate our artistic businesses. And just announced, I'll be at NECA, the New England Center for Circus Arts, January the 2nd through the 4th. So it's a silks immersion, 11 hours of silks on their 30-foot plus ceilings. If you want to start the year off with some serious training, let's get your mittens and your coat and let's go to Vermont and train. All right. If you guys are interested, my comprehensive online course for beginner to intermediate silks, anywhere you are in the world, check that out. And then Aerial Rehab is an online course. If you are coming back from pregnancy, injury, or surgery, it is meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aerial class. I'm teaching all over the place this fall, and check it out, and let's get started. Jessie, where does this find you?
Relation to the country?
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in Vermont, southeastern Vermont, small town.
Oh my God, I'm gonna go to NECA in January to teach.
That's where I take classes.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so on brand right now. I've said the word NECA about 18 times today. Wow, how lucky are you?
I know, I'm so lucky. I think about it every time I walk in the building. It's great.
Do they just have drop-in? I mean, are you on a program or is it a drop-in situation?
No, I'm not in like a professional program, but they do adult session classes. So they are usually like 6 to 8 weeks, which is good because I feel like you get the curriculum and like build up.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Oh my God. And how far is it like of a drive for you?
It's 40 minutes each way. So
okay.
It's a bit of a trek. But God, that's kind of everything when you live where I live. I mean, I drive 45 minutes to the grocery store. So
okay, that's problematic. That's more problematic than your aerial studio being kind of far away. But you're 40 minutes from the best facility in the entire country.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. So, listeners, I'll just say it now. So it's official. My silks immersion is going to be January 2nd to the 4th. So right after New Year's Eve, starting the year off right. And I'm going to go get my mittens and my coat and bundle up. But right now, you're probably not like me because I'm in the armpit of Texas. It's probably really nice there right now in Vermont.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the high was like 70 today. Ugh. It's been on and off showers, but I can't complain. I'm living for the 55-degree mornings right now.
Yeah, because this is the best time of the year for you. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Second only to spring. I didn't appreciate spring until I grew up in the South and I moved to Chicago and then to Vermont. And once I was up north, spring just becomes, it's transcendental. It's amazing to like emerge from winter and then suddenly you get warm for the first time. So yeah. Spring might have it beat, honestly.
And then the leaves in like October must be just like picturesque.
Oh, yeah. All the driving is beautiful here all year long. That's not true. Stick season in November-ish is not as attractive as it could be, but the rest of the year it's beautiful.
Oh my God. I live here in Texas now. I'm in San Antonio and I just I just fantasize about different weather. But I have to say, I'm really a wimp and I can't do the East Coast like winter anymore. Like I did it when I was a kid and I don't think I can go back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, so Jessie, if you'll introduce yourself to the audience, kind of like where you are in your life stage right now, how long you've been in your practice, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jessie. I live in southeastern Vermont with my husband, James, and our daughter, Ada, who will be 3 in October. Mm. And I've been taking aerial classes on and off for about 10 years. I would say that in the beginning of my practice, due to like time and scheduling, I wasn't necessarily taking a class every week. But recently, I've been able to be enrolled in a class regularly, with the exception of pregnancy and a postpartum journey, consistently, which has been really helpful.
Oh, this is amazing. And you have a 3-year-old.
Yeah, almost 30.
Yes, this is amazing. Okay, so what is it like having a 3-year-old? Like, what are the stages right now? Like, what are the challenges? What are the big wins?
Oh, she's amazing. She's talking up a storm. She's very, very fun. Obviously, she's testing boundaries, and I think the thing I hear all day is, "No, let me do it,"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is great and good for her. But she's starting Montessori like this week. It's her first week in school, so it's going really well. She's a blast.
So she has started already or has not yet?
They do a very slow roll in. She went this morning for like an hour and 45 minutes,
Okay.
and they'll do that today, tomorrow, Friday, and then next week it's like 8:30 to 3, just all day long. She's there, which is wild. But
Wow, that is, you know what? Okay, so Jessie, do you have a full-time job?
I have a part-time job from home for a nonprofit.
Okay.
So it's been a lot of like childcare juggling.
Yeah, because it's a job and you still have to like get it done, right?
Right.
It's hard. I have my own business, and up until this year, I've just been doing both. Like I'm a stay-at-home mom and I have my business. And I look back and I'm like, how exactly? And I think the answer is that you just don't have like control of most of your brain. Like most of your brain
Oh,
is with your kid, what they're doing, what they're climbing on.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like her naps are getting shorter, so claiming that time has become more difficult recently.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to miss her very much when she's in school full time, but it will also be interesting to get some of that time back and have more dedicated work hours.
Well, can I say that I won't call it a mistake, but I wonder if we should have done it differently, me and my partner. Because we have the luxury of me working for myself, we decided last year to only put our bean in, and she was like, I guess she would have been, oh, if she's 5.5 going 6 now, she was 4.5 going 5. And we still did a half day of Montessori last year because she was like not in kindergarten yet, and we didn't have to. But their half day was only 2 hours and like 30 minutes.
A lot of time.
It's
Yeah.
not. And so what happened was this year's kindergarten, and we switched her to a charter public, so we're no longer paying for school, which was so expensive over the years that there was no public school option. There's only one option for public school kindergarten here. It's 7:30 to 3:45. No, sorry, I'm sorry, 7:45 to 3:45, which is what you're about to do with your 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And so all of my friends who have jobs put their kid in daycare or in whatever, like you're doing, a long time ago. And their kid got used to school. Whereas this year,
Yeah.
my kid went to school for the first time, like full day, and it was fucking hard.
Yeah, that's a huge transition. And
Huge.
we had Ada in daycare 3 days a week, part-time, for almost a year. And then it didn't work out for our family. And so we pulled her, and then my parents moved here and they helped a little bit. So we've just been like cobbling it together, and it's changed a lot for her. And I think the consistency is going to be really good.
Yeah, and the thing is that they get used to it. Like, my kid is very mature in some ways. Like, she listens to me record podcasts all day long, so she's hearing like like not adult language, but like an adult talking the whole day. And then she, like, when people talk to her, they're like, she's only in kindergarten. But then when it comes to her having separation anxiety from me, it's like super high,
Oh, yeah.
you know? So that's something that has been a challenge. You know, she comes home from school and she's like, I miss you. I don't see you anymore. And I work at night. Not every night, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I work at the
Mhm.
studio, which is not going to change. I'm going to teach night classes.
Yeah.
So that's like an ongoing struggle. So I'm so interested to hear how she likes whatever that is, 8:30 to 3:30.
Yeah, 8:30 to 3. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that she'll enjoy it. She had a really good first day today. So,
Okay, good. And then when it comes to part-time work for you, does that mean 5 days a week, part of the day, or is it like full day, 3 days a week?
yeah, luckily I have a lot of flexibility in my role. It's teeny tiny organization. There's four of us and everyone has kids.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
I get to make my own schedule to a certain extent. But I do best when I do like 4 hours a day in the mornings and just like have that routine so that I can really get into work mode.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to be doing that.
Yeah. Boundaries are good when you have a job.
Yeah,
I was just
absolutely.
talking about that with my girlfriends. Like, I have no boundaries with my job because and there's good reason for it. Like I teach on Saturdays. I teach workshops on Sundays.
Yeah.
I teach classes at night, like in person. I'm recording a podcast whenever my guests can make it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's hard.
And that work-life balance can be so hard. I come from the theater world. Before I moved to
Mm.
Vermont, I worked like front of house for live theater, and the constantly changing schedules and working at night and having weekend shifts, and it can be a lot.
Yeah, like it kind of
Absolutely.
takes over your life, even though you're not working every single hour of the week.
Yeah.
What brought you to Vermont, by the way?
We loved it. We just really liked it here. We were kind
Oh,
of done with living in Chicago, and we house hunted in December of 2019 and signed our papers for our mortgage on March 9th, 2020. If you
wow.
what's
Well, I
happening that
remember
week.
what happened that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a really weird time to move across the country, but also probably the best time to move to Vermont. So really, really worked out timing wise for us.
Where did you train in Chicago?
I took initial classes at a
Uh-huh.
loft, and I really loved it there. And I tried a few other studios, but a loft was where I took most of my classes and was very sad to leave it
Yeah,
when
that's
we.
the place I hear about all the time. It's like a renovated church.
Yeah, yeah. I took a $10 taster class at a loft for static trapeze, and it was the first time that I'd done any aerial class before, and I realized that I did enjoy working out. I just had to find the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, and that's really what kicked it off.
And so you're a hobbyist, but like 10 years in.
Yeah,
That's great. And
yeah.
it's still like tickles your pickle, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I realized how much I missed it until I got back to it and felt comfortable with it. And I really feel like it's part of what makes me feel like myself.
Hmm.
Even though I don't get to do it very often, I think it's one of those things where you get to only think about that one thing. And there's meditative exercise, and there's like exercise where you have to focus so hard that you can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoy that. When I'm in the air, I'm only thinking about not falling out of the air. So,
Yeah, it's amazing. Like for me too, it doesn't matter how crowded my brain is. That happens automatically. I don't have anything else in my life that does that for me. Like yoga, I can ruminate about anything while I'm doing
oh,
yoga.
sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about laundry, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is great. I love that you gave me that backstory because this your kid is 3, which means all this happened at kind of the same time. So pandemic started, and then you must have gotten pregnant like a little after that.
Yeah, pandemic hit. NECA reopened relatively early, I think, in the aerial world, and I went right away, which was scary, but they had really great safety protocols,
And
and
it's big, and you're
um,
in the air.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah, and then I got pregnant in January of 2022. So
Okay.
I was in classes after COVID for a little over a year, I guess, maybe a year and a half, before getting pregnant and taking a big break.
Okay, so was this planned?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so how long did it take to get pregnant from the planning stage to the pregnancy stage?
I was really lucky. We didn't have trouble. It was like the second cycle that we were trying. So it happened
Okay.
really fast for us.
Okay, and how old were you back then?
Oh God. Wow. Math. 32. No, wait. 2022. I was 31 when I got pregnant and I turned 32 in March. So 31, 32.
Okay. Okay. So it wasn't hard. And then what was your experience? Like, did you get sick in the first trimester?
Oh, yes. I had a very healthy pregnancy, and I consider myself very lucky for that. And first trimester was tough. It was really hard. I was nauseous pretty much all the time. I was falling asleep on the couch at 6:30. Uh, and I have scoliosis, which hasn't really impacted my aerial practice too much, but does mean that I have a very, very short torso. So there
Mm.
was nowhere to go but out. I have a curve in my lower back that makes my torso shorter by probably about an inch. Um, and so I went out really quick, and my body started to feel very different when I moved it really soon. um, and so my intention was to practice into my second trimester, but in reality, I hit 10 weeks and I was like, I cannot be here right now. I can't do this.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I stopped earlier than I
the
thought I
baby
would.
kind of lives on the outside of you when you have no cavity in your body.
Right. Yeah, it was like past my pubic bone before the 12-week mark. I mean, I was showing earlier than a lot of first time gestating people, I think. You know, a lot of times when you're like 16, 18 weeks pregnant, no one's going to call you on it. And I had strangers talking to me about it. And I was like, you're like really comfortable with that,
Yeah,
assuming
yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. I know.
But, wow,
And especially when it's a man, it's even more annoying.
that's true. Yeah, not a lot of dudes doing it, luckily, but a very touchy-feely Airbnb host at one point,
Oh,
like
geez.
touched my belly. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I was like, what do you, don't do that.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this was known by now.
I
One
know.
one that I got, I can't remember if I'm making this up or not, but I swear this man walked past me and said, "Oh, looks like you're about to pop." That a man, a white man, an old white man, and then somebody at another point said to me, "Oh, just smile. You should smile." I wanted to
Oh my God.
punch that motherfucker out.
The most annoying thing for me was people insisting that I was having a boy. They would look at like how I was carrying and say, it's a boy. I was like, I think you're super wrong. Like, I don't know what this old wives' tale thing is going on about carrying low versus high and all this. I was like, okay, this is a weird thing to tell me in
Ugh,
line at
people are
CVS.
annoying, and people love to hear the sound of their voice, and they love to make commentary, and it's annoying.
That's
It's
true.
really annoying. Okay, so are you also not a super tall person?
No, I'm 5'2".
Okay, we're five.
Um,
I'm 5'1", I think. I think I shrunk an inch.
yeah.
So when it comes to the scoliosis, you might be you're definitely not the first, but you may be the first person who mentioned it to me on the podcast.
Yeah.
So has the scoliosis really affected your life pain wise, like, or anything else wise, like before the pregnancy even?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's been a source of pain. It does limit my range of motion in one direction because my hips just hit my ribs early. Like if I try to side bend to the left, it's just like bone meeting bone. There's nothing going. So in that sense, it's been kind of strange. But on the other hand, I have great range of motion on the other side,
There's
so
that.
it balances out a little bit.
Um, did you know your whole life that you had scoliosis?
I didn't. I found out when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
I noticed in the mirror that I had some asymmetry, and I think I internalized the like every no one's perfect, like
Mm.
everybody's a little bit asymmetrical way too much until I talked to my doctor, and I don't know how they missed it, but they did the finger test on my back and they said, "You have scoliosis. We're referring you for an X-ray." And it's considered moderate. It wouldn't be eligible for like spinal surgery at all. But it definitely has visually you can tell. If I'm in a swimsuit, it's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Do you feel like it has encumbered anything in your life? Pretty, like, has it made things harder or no?
no, not really. I am very intentional. I know it's always important when you're in an aerial class to do both sides, but I definitely always do both sides because um, I tend to have, I tend to veer towards a muscular imbalance
Mm-hmm.
just as a matter of like keeping myself upright because of how my spine is oriented. Um, but no, it hasn't really been a huge deal, which is nice.
Okay. And then I'm sorry, I'm beating this I'm like asking a million questions, but
Yeah. Okay, that's your job.
when it comes to okay, wait. Also, my brain fog is terrible. Like terrible.
That's very fair. I live and die by lists now. I don't know how I functioned before. I've got like 15 timers on my phone for everything in my life.
Oh, is there
Oh,
anything that you do that makes it better? Like, have you ever been able to improve it or just maintain and it not get worse over time?
yeah. I think that for a while I had a yoga practice, and that was probably really good for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reality of the situation is that I am not doing that right now. I should, but you know, I think in a different phase in my life, I will be able to get back into that. Um, but no, I did. I did some physical therapy my first year of college because I had some problems with my scapula as a result of the scoliosis. But other than like an occasional check-in with PT, I haven't really noticed anything making it better or worse. It did impact my decision making in my birth plan, weirdly.
Mm.
Um, but that might be later or not relevant.
No, please tell. That's interesting.
Yeah. So in addition to the curve, my spine also has a rotation, so it doesn't sit straight on. And when I was kind of looking into pain management in birth, all of the studies pointed to people with this degree of scoliosis having a higher chance of uneven pain relief with an epidural. And
Okay.
so my best friend actually also has scoliosis, and she dealt with that. She was completely numb on one side of her body and not on the other. So she kind of
Oh.
felt all of the labor pain on half, but was unable to move around to cope with it. And so I asked for a consultation with anesthesiology at the hospital where I gave birth, and they told me on the phone, oh, well, we could do an ultrasound guided placement, which helps reduce that risk, but it kind of just depends on who's on staff. Not everyone will do that. And so um, I didn't really, I planned for and had a birth without an epidural more because I was more afraid of having uneven pain relief than not having the epidural itself. So yeah, I guess in that way scoliosis impacted how chose to give birth. But how I chose to give birth. Wow.
No, both
Anyway,
of us just not working with the
yeah,
brain.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So did that mean, wait, let's, to clarify, does that mean you decide not to have an epidural at all?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. So how did that go? Did that go as planned?
It did go as planned. Yeah, I was pretty lucky there. I I said I had a healthy pregnancy, and I did. I did have some very, very bad like joint dysfunction in my hips towards the end, and I saw a pelvic floor physical therapist late in pregnancy. I got a referral, and she said, "Oh, I can get you in October 5th," and that was a week before my due date. And I said, "I'll see you there." And so I established care with her, which ended up really being helpful in my postpartum journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 days later, I went into labor. So,
Okay.
that was good. Yeah.
Okay. So if you would rate the pain of the natural birth with no epidural, 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 1 being the least, what would the number be?
Oh, I mean, definitely the worst pain of my life. I've been very lucky thus far. Like, I've never been in that much pain before. I do think your brain does like a very nice thing where it kind of, during transition, I was in a different place. Once I hit like 7, 8 centimeters, my brain was, I accessed it in like blips where I realized that I was like shouting like a feral raccoon into a nitrous gas mask and like scarring my husband for life. But like, I I had a positive experience. Like I felt empowered by the birth that I had. I don't plan on having another child. So,
Because of
I
that
don't,
or the actual
oh no.
child part?
No, not because of that. I've kind of said like I could be pregnant again. I did want to be, I don't want to be pregnant again. I don't want to do postpartum again. I could give birth again. Like I don't want to, but it was really the postpartum experience was really tough. And I'm an only child. And so I know what it means to be one. And I feel like I know how to parent one
Okay.
because I think my parents did a great job. So, I think that the postpartum and our family just feels complete.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Mine
yeah.
too.
So
Mine too.
luckily, the birth wasn't like traumatic in a way that prevented me from having more kids at all. It was overall good, I would say.
So if you were to say though, the pregnancy part, birth, postpartum, which was the worst? The postpartum?
I think so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell us why you think that.
Um, I had a really difficult breastfeeding journey,
Okay.
and I think it impacted my mental health in a way that I did not see coming. And then also I had a diastasis recti situation that took 8 months of PT to get me
Wow.
actually exercising again.
Wow.
So it was just a long road back to feeling like myself again and doing the things I wanted to do.
Okay, so breastfeeding journey, was it that your baby was like not latching?
Yeah, she, I knew right away that her latch wasn't great. And I was calling like consultants into my hospital room, and they said, "No, it looks good. Like, does it hurt?" I was like, "I don't know. What's pain? What is it?" Like, I just went through this unmedicated birth. Like, this hurts, but it's not the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. So, like, it's probably fine. And it quickly became apparent that it wasn't fine. And so, kind of flip-flop between like pumping to give myself a break and then trying to nurse directly and talking to like 5 different lactation consultants. Finally, when she was about 6 weeks old, they did a weighted feed and they determined that she wasn't transferring properly. Um,
Wait, transferring, what is
and
that? Like she's not
uh,
getting a lot of milk?
yeah, like yeah, she wasn't efficient. So she wasn't when she was like nursing at the breast, she wasn't getting the amount of milk that you would expect. But I didn't have a supply problem, and so they determined that she probably had some kind of posterior tongue tie, and they recommended laser revision. And ultimately, I decided to exclusively pump for 6 months instead. And um, once I stopped trying to nurse, I felt like my relationship with her was so much better, and I actually was able to enjoy being a mom instead of just like stressing out about trying to do this thing that I felt like I had to do. um, and so, yeah, I pumped for 6 months, and then she was on like freezer stash through 11 months. So it ended up working out, but in the interim, like until I made that decision, I was just so miserable, like in a really bad way. Like James stepped in and was like, I'm going to start calling people for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be in therapy. Like things aren't going well for you. So yeah, it was really tough. It was a tough couple of months there.
If you were to say like if there's a pie and like what portion of the pie was like physical, um, pain related, exhaustion related, and what piece of the pie was, if you had mom guilt, like emotional, you know what I'm saying, psychological,
Yeah.
like how would that break down? Because I feel like breastfeeding kind of taps into like the worst potential like combination of feelings for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Physically attempting was very painful. And then not being able to do it successfully in the way I'd envisioned was mentally very painful. And it was also painful for my relationship with my daughter because the most of the time that I was spending awake with her was stressful. And,
Mm-hmm.
you're like freshly postpartum and your emotions all over the place. And I like resented her sometimes. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt guilty that I resented her
Right.
not being able to do this thing that I didn't know how to teach her to do.
Right, 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 right.
It's just this messy soup. And I would say that physically, aside from the abdominal separation, within a couple of weeks, I was really feeling fine. But mentally, it was probably like 25 physical, 75 mental, you know? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just hard. And I also, the week before I gave birth, my maternal grandmother passed, and I was unable to go to the funeral. I couldn't see her when she was ill, and I was newly postpartum dealing with the fact that my daughter was never going to meet my grandmother. So it was just all kind of coming down at once.
Yeah. Would you say you were depressed?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. I was crying, heaving, sobbing multiple times a day for weeks.
Oh,
And yeah, and it's, in retrospect, like looking back, it's like I want to shake myself and be like, just pump or go to formula. Like, you don't have to live like this. But in the moment, it felt so important.
yeah, of course. I mean, are you one of those who was like, I'm going to breastfeed
Yeah. Oh,
beforehand?
yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have formula in the house. I had a pump that I didn't know how to use. I'd read like 6 books. I'd watched webinars. I had a lactation consultant, like on speed dial. Like I was like, I'm ready. I'm so ready. And then it all came to, I was like, I'm not ready. So it was, it was really, it surprised me a lot and affected me very deeply as a result, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the element of, especially us, people who are aerialists and who do something very hard in the air, like when our bodies fail us and we have no control over it, it's like really hard for our personalities to
Yeah.
deal with that.
Yeah.
And tell me, before you started aerial 10 years ago, did you have a movement practice at all? Or were you just like, was it new to you as an adult?
It was new to me as an adult. That's not, I did yoga like a couple of times a week leading up, but I never really had anything that stuck like this did.
Okay. Okay. So it's interesting to me that like you started your movement practice, as an adult, and you still have the same, what I call like mental disease of, I'm a dancer since I was a kid. And if my body disappoints me, like it's so ingrained, it's really hard. And then you're saying, and a lot of people who are like you say to me the same, like they started this as an adult and they still feel that way.
Yeah. And, I think that I've been very, very fortunate to live in a body that does the thing I want it to do most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back to working out after having a baby and feeling scared of my body was like a very new experience.
Mm.
Feeling like if I ran too early or if I got in the air too early, I was gonna like tear my abs open. Like,
Well, you did have a DR, which it's
right.
not weird for you to think that. So let's go to that. So you were in PT. How many finger separation did you have at the beginning?
I had a four-finger separation from
Wow.
top to bottom, like the whole whole leg.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was at my 5-week appointment. And so the PT, the physical therapist said, you're gonna be with me for a bit. Um, yeah.
You were the first
And so I
person I've
started,
talked to that had that.
yeah, it was, and I think truly I had a big baby. She was
Mm.
very technically like 13 grams over the limit for what a big baby is considered. So she was 8 pounds, 13 ounces. And, I'm short, I have a short torso. I think it was just going to
It
happen.
tore you open, girl.
It did. It sure did.
Wow. I mean, I've been doing this podcast for 5 some years, and that is the first time I've heard that. Congratulations. If you want to
Thanks.
get like a ribbon for something, you don't want that ribbon, right? So,
No, no, that's kind of a crappy ribbon.
wow. Okay, so good job to your PT. Is it healed? Like, is it still open a little bit?
It's still open a little bit at my belly button. My bottom and top abs went back together pretty easily, but the belly button area has been difficult. I think it was at like 2 or 3 fingers when I stopped PT, but she basically said like the fascia was there, that she was no longer concerned about me like going back to this as long as I was mindful.
Okay.
And I was definitely very, very careful in the beginning. I'm still careful. I still think about it. I have to think about breathing. I no longer have the privilege of getting up there and being like, I forgot to breathe, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I am at a point where I can do most of the things that I was doing before I got pregnant, which didn't feel possible when I was staring down this physical therapy experience.
Okay. I'm actually helping one of my Pilates clients with her diastasis, but she's many, many years postpartum. Her youngest kid is probably 10 years old, and she's had this diastasis the whole time. And it's not quite, I have to see, I mean, she might have a 1 finger separation, but it's still there, and it's still
Yeah.
quite long. What were the exercises that you feel like helped the most?
Um, I don't really know. I did a lot of like dead bug floor toe taps.
Yeah, yeah, marching.
Did a lot of those.
Marching, yeah.
Um, and some of this is like very far back in my memory. And I know that I did a lot with a Pilates ball between my knees,
Okay.
doing like lifts and extensions. Um, and what blew my mind is that it started with literally just breathing on the floor. I had absolutely no idea it would be that basic. But I think that the cues that my physical therapist gave me are ones that I still use today. Like when I am engaging my abs during warm up, I'm thinking about your hip bones as headlights, to try and like really engage the transverse abdominals when you're activating all of
I
it.
like that. Headlights. Aces
Yeah,
points on
trying to get them to
headlights.
cross. Like imagine you're a car and you want them to cross. That's
Oh,
basically
that's a
what
good
it was telling
cue.
me. It was a good cue. Yeah, it worked really well. And my physical therapist, it was funny. She had another aerial client at the time, but we were her first clients that did this. And I don't know if you remember Aerial Physique. She put out like a guide to working out during COVID for aerialists.
I don't exactly remember that, but yes, Jill Franklin, you're the bomb. Shout
Yeah,
out Jill
and
Franklin.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
so I shared that with my PT because I said, you might want to see what it would look
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
to work this way at home without equipment. And she said that was really, really useful. So she
Nice.
kind of looked at that and she looked at videos and she really did the deep dive to figure out what to do to get me where I wanted to be.
And you said 8 months of PT before you started your aerial practice.
That was actually, I waited over a year before I went back to aerials. I
Okay.
went back to running. I was trail running for a while there. And So 8 months in, I started running regularly again, and
Okay.
I did a trail 5K, and then I went back to aerials and was like, okay, like I did this race, like I feel good. I'm fine with driving 40 minutes both ways to like
Yeah.
saddle my husband with a weekly solo bedtime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm making notes right now. Ariel, a year. You said year and a half?
It would have been about a year and 2 months actually, because
Okay.
I started January of 2024.
Okay. Okay. Okay, and so with your practice, like before you had the baby, before you were pregnant, was an inversion easy for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
yeah, I could not straight leg inversion, unfortunately, or like straight arms, but I could invert in the air comfortably multiple times in a row.
Got it. Okay, so are you back to that now?
Yeah, I mean, I know I can do a couple in a row.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
more about your
I
arms anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
I think that crossback straddle was the thing that took me the longest to get back.
Yeah. That thing is
Yeah.
hard when you've just pushed a baby out.
It's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. It was tough for me before. I think it's all the components you have to move at the same
Yeah.
time. But I mean, it was an event when I got it back in class. Like all my classmates
Yeah, yeah,
clapped.
yeah.
We were so excited.
Totally.
They're like watching me every week. Give it my
Yeah,
best.
yeah, yeah. No, good for you though.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for, oh my God. I mean, here in San Antonio, since I just moved here a year ago, I mostly have beginner students. Like I don't have tons of intermediate students because they're my students and I'm building them up from the ground up. And yeah, every week, one new person gets it for the first time and it's like clapping all around because it's like, when I was postpartum and I was getting that back, I was like, oh, this is what normal people feel like. This is terrible. Like just recruiting all those muscles that attach to your pelvis, recruiting it, and then all the coordination it takes. I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we put together all of that, that is why you're like, I'm good with one. My family feels complete. No, thank you. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I think that's part of it for sure. And my PT made the funniest comment. I was like about to graduate out of PT, and she was like, "Well, now if you have another baby, you know like how to do this again." Oh, Siobhan, good luck with that. No, absolutely not. No, thanks.
Oh my God. I mean, for me, it's not just getting back, which this would be my second full-time getting back because I had a huge injury that was not related to pregnancy, but I'd broken my leg, right? So I've done it 2 times and I will not do a third time unless I absolutely have no choice, right? And it's more because like my beautiful friends who've decided to have more than one child, like regardless of if there's 2 years between the first and the second or 3 or 5 or 1, like their lives are just so different for like
Yeah,
5 to 8 years.
it's
And like
true.
with one kid, you can kind of hold a semblance of what you had, like ish.
Yeah.
But with two,
Yeah.
it's just, wow, that kind of goes out the window. That's a more deciding factor. And plus, people ask me because I don't look my age necessarily. They're like, are you having another one? I was like, bitch, I'm in perimenopause. Like, this body is not willing. So, but we're happy to. Okay, so Jessie, if you told me this was actually, I don't know if it's my luck or what, but every time I bring somebody on this podcast, you like check 18 boxes for this podcast. You had trouble with a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So not
Yeah, I
great
guess
for
so.
you, but great for the podcast. Out of all the things for our aerial mamas out there who are at any stage of this, what advice would you give them?
I would recommend getting in with a pelvic floor physical therapist while you're pregnant.
Mm.
Having that baseline, a relationship with someone, not having to deal with the wait list, and having someone kind of check out my situation early,
Mm-hmm.
I think was really, really helpful. I felt very cared for and supported, and taking the time early to go there every week and like take care of my body and learn how to exist in this new body postpartum as someone who wants to work out was really, really helpful.
Okay, Before you gave birth, was your pelvic floor out of balance? Were you too tight or too whatever?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And my PT saw me at, 39 weeks pregnant and was like, "You're doing great. You're really strong. Like, this looks good." And then saw me after and was like, "Whoa, we got to deal with this."
Well, why? Did you blow out your muscles?
Well, no, I had a relatively intense second degree tear that involved some repair deeper inside the vagina than you might expect.
Okay.
And so it was just gnarly between that and the abs. It's just a
Did you,
bummer.
what is it when they clip? Did you have
Episiotomy?
that?
No, I didn't have one. I tore quite naturally,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, everyone, like at the midwives who looked at me said, "Oh, she seems like she's a perfectly average size. You'll have like a 7-pound baby." And they put her on my chest and I was like, "Who's this giant?"
What was the pounds?
8 pounds, 13 ounces. And she's a chubby little baby. And she's like 90th percentile for height and weight still. I mean, she's really proportional. She's big. She's big for her
Is your
age.
partner tall?
No.
Yeah,
No, he's
I get
5'10".
so confused when, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
My kid actually, like, I have old dance costumes for when I was a kid, and she's fitting into the costumes that I wore when I was like 7 or like 6. No, 7.
So,
Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
yeah.
I think I was like tinier, but she's not big either. I'm so confused. I don't know.
I know. I pick up this child and she's like half of my body now, and it's hilarious because she's not even 3 yet, and she's so
She's
tall.
tall. Also, on a side note, I just met one of my cousin's kids, and it's a boy. The boy is like 3, and I'm like, this kid was hilarious kid, just making all types of jokes. Still like learning how to talk and everything. I try to pick this kid up, and it's like picking up Thor's hammer.
They're dense.
Yes, super solid. And I tried to pick up this kid and I couldn't. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because my kid is almost 6 years old. And I pick her up with one arm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. Oh my God. Okay. Jessie, you are perfect for this podcast because so much shit happened to you. So thank you for sharing. The women out there are going to benefit from your misfortune in many ways. But look at you. You're resilient and you got your abs back together and your kid is awesome. It's a win.
Yeah, it all worked out. Thanks for having me. I never really viewed it that way. I thought, oh, it wasn't so bad. And then I look back and say it all in a row, and I'm like, yeah, it
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
great.
for sure, like I've done this podcast for a long time and there's worse stories, but like, I guess going into this, because I didn't know all of that, I was like, oh, that's kind of bad. Yeah. So, Jessie, maybe this means I'll meet you in person in January because, maybe I'll see you around.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be.
That would be great. Okay, Jessie, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitant Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist.